Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys Echo Base figure preview video. Now before we begin, I have to say a massive thank you to Ryan Kirkwood for going out in person and snapping this gorgeous footage. Show Ryan some love down in the comments below, because without Ryan, this series literally wouldn't be possible. Also, if you are looking to pre-order your very own Zombie Hunter Spider-Man based off Marvel's What If, it is going up right now with ToysWonderland.com, and of course the link for that is down in the description below, and they do have 12-month installment plans if you're a fan of paying off your figures over time. Yeah, here it is, the first of the What If series of figures. Now, they have shown a few more. We've seen Peggy Carter as Cap, the Hydra Stomper with a miniature version of Steve Rogers on the inside, and also the zombie version of Captain America. Fingers crossed they actually go ahead and make those, but showing this kind of gives me the confidence that Hot Toys will go ahead and make at least a few more. But the interesting thing here is they've gone for an all-out animated aesthetic. You can't really tell as much with Spidey, but on the other characters, when we do our advanced figure preview videos on them, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, this guy is a pretty bare-bones version of Spidey. For one, he doesn't come with an unmasked head sculpt. The LEGO custom minifigure version of Zombie Hunter does actually come with an unmasked head sculpt, and the Marvel Legends one does as well, but for some reason Hot Toys decided not to do it. He does come with the usual array of webs, including the funnel one, and the more exciting one. He's currently holding it, you'll see it in just a second. An array of interchangeable hands and interchangeable lenses. It seems like Hot Toys have taken this opportunity to, in my opinion, make the very best Spider-Man based on the various technologies that they've put into their previous releases. Number one, he has the magnetic lenses, which I think we'll all agree are fantastic. Then, they've also gone with the swap-out web shooter part for the inner palm of the hand, just like we saw recently with upgraded suit Spidey. So that is another huge plus. I love the way they've done that. They've also almost perfectly matched the texture of the suit to the sculpt and paint applications on the hands, which, yeah, another huge tick. You can actually see on the inside of the thwip hand, he does have the exposed web shooter part already attached, because yeah, that entire palm does come off and you swap out the various parts and pieces. I have seen though a lot of discussion on the price of this Spidey. In the US he goes for $270. Apparently people are very upset about that because he doesn't come with a head sculpt like I just mentioned. But bear in mind, this is an import product. This is made overseas, just like Takara Tomy Transformers and Bandai SH Figuarts releases. They're made for their domestic markets and imported to your country, so you are going to pay more. If you'd like to know the true original retail price in the country where this thing was made, just check out the Hot Toys Secret Base Facebook page, and then that should give you a rough idea as to where Hot Toys values their own creation. So yeah, you're not paying more for extra pieces, you're importing it into your country. It's an import product, therefore it's going to be more expensive. I thought that was relatively straightforward and something that everyone knew. Either way, yes, in US it is a little bit pricey, but I think if you're willing to pay for it, this is going to be a darn good Spidey to have in your display. Now, going back to the list of things they've borrowed from other Spidey figures. Number one, it looks like the same body as the upgraded suit figure, which has a slightly modified version of the tech suit body, which I love. It also looks like they've done away with that unsightly gap at the ankles, just like they did on movie promo suit tech suit Spidey. Another thing that's been borrowed. If you have a little borrowed things counter, do let me know what we end up with at the end of the video. So yes, we do have the ankles. Then we have the synthetic rubbery look suit with more musculature added on underneath, just like we've seen with the PS4 suits. So that's another thing that they've brought in here. They really have brought the best of pretty much every style of Spider-Man figure. They've been learning and modifying and tweaking things as they've been going. And now we're seeing it all come together in this guy, and I personally could not be more excited. Plus, this right here is actually almost identical to the MCU Disney Parks suit from Avengers Campus. If you go to Disneyland and you see Spidey walking around, he'll be wearing a suit that is almost identical to this. So yeah, it's in universe. You could have this in your MCU Spidey display. And Hot Toys were very quick to point out in their images, not by actually removing the cape, we still don't know what he looks like without it, but by including some text saying detachable cape, so yes, you can remove the cloak of levitation. I assume it just magnetically attaches to the front of Spidey there. Interestingly enough, the little clasps on the front of the cape are done in an animated style with a very flat paint job, and I really like it. As for that big honkin' Spidey logo, it isn't a raised piece like on the usual MCU suits. I'm very curious as to why they didn't use the same style fabric as Tech's suit and Upgraded suit. I think they were going for that animated look, and this was the only real way they felt they could accomplish that look and have it distinctly different to the rest of the Spidey suits in the display. So yeah, I guess it does make sense. I also love the big shiny silver web shooters there. It's a nice touch and a little bit of a pop of colour on the red and blue Spidey there. That silver metallic works a treat. In fact, if you go to Disneyland and you go into one of the gift shops, they actually do sell a pair of fully wearable, fully die-cast web shooters that look very, very similar to this. I'm just super happy that all of the cards and stars have aligned, that Marvel decided to use the Avengers Campus suit in What If, therefore we were able to get it in merch, which works perfectly at Disneyland and here also as a Hot Toys release. It's such a nice thing when all the synergy just comes together. You also just saw the spooled up web, which you'll know is my personal favourite. Another thing that they've borrowed is the fully sculpted head. Finally, we have an MCU Spidey with a sculpted head sculpt. I was speaking to my buddy Nathan, aka NAB Cosplay, and he said he thinks that this is the best, most accurate head shape sculpt for a Spidey that he's ever seen. And I have to agree with him on that. It looks spectacular. Yes, pun is intended. You have the swap out eye gimmick, and you do still have a very accurate look to the rest of the suit, but the shape is pretty much perfect because they don't have to accommodate any fabric going over the top, and there are no seam lines or any weird bumps or creases. It's the best way to do it. I hope that going forward Hot Toys continues to do sculpted head sculpts, and I know what people are going to say in the comments. Well Justin, they didn't do sculpted because they wanted to match the texture. Well, I raise you this. The hands are sculpted and textured on the MCU Spideys, and they're made of plastic. If they can do it for the hands, they can absolutely do it for the head. So I'm hoping, going forward, that we don't see any more fabric-headed Spidey figures. But then again, it remains to be seen. The cape, or the cloak of levitation itself, does look fantastic, fully wired. It does have this sort of flat comic book look about it, which is perfect for What If. If you'd asked me before Hot Toys started showing these figures, if they were going to go for a stylized, cartoony look, or if they were going to go for realistic, like they're doing for Bad Batch and Clone Wars, I would have absolutely said realistic. But I know why, at least I think, why they're doing this. If you look at the Marvel Legends figures, they usually go for realistic versions as well. Hasbro have the Black Series line, and their Black Series figures for Clone Wars are the realistic style. So I think they prefer that. But I'm fairly certain Disney has made the mandate that if you are making product based off What If, it has to be the animated style, so we don't confuse the audience. These aren't the prime timeline version of the MCU characters, those are in the films. They look very distinctly realistic. If Disney are going to mess around with what we know about the MCU, then they want to make it very clear it's a different style. So I think that's why they've done this, and hey, it works for me. If you take the cape off, this works as a Disney Parks suit Spidey anyway. Even though the colors are a little bit flatter and he's a little bit more vibrant, this still looks realistic enough for me to display him alongside my other MCU Spidey figures. So yeah, I may potentially have to pick up 2 of these. Do let me know what you think of Zombie Hunter Spidey down in the comments below, and if you are looking to pre-order him, don't forget he is available from toyswonderland.com. Link for that is down in the description below, and they do have 12-month installment plans if you are a fan of paying off your figures over time. Also, while you are down there, why not check out the link to 6 Scale Network, the awesome Facebook group. Come along, chat figures, share photos of your collection, and of course, see what's coming up next on the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.